We are now at IT BPM Operations Management, Fundamentals of Business Process Outsourcing. 6 components would be performance management, quality monitoring and analyzing, metrics and reporting, productivity monitoring and control, professional development, and lastly, continuous improvement initiatives. 6 components. Let's talk about performance management. Performance management is a systematic process by which an organization involves its employees as individuals and as members of a group in improving the organizational effectiveness through the accomplishment of mission and goals. Employee performance management includes the following: planning, work, and setting expectations, continually monitoring performance, developing the capacity to perform, and periodically rating performance in a summary fashion, and of course, rewarding good performance. Let's talk about metrics and reporting. Operational goals and metrics, we would talk about meet operational budget and transaction volumes forecasting, target average handle time or AHT, cost per seat, per hour, and per transaction. Reduce waiting time, percentage of transactions handled at a specific time, abandon rate percentage, average speed of answer, and of course, let's also talk about reduce repeat transactions, first time resolution percentage or resolution rate. Increase responsiveness, turnaround time, quality of service provided through customer contact. Increase lead generation, we mean lead generated per hour if it is an outbound process. Limitations of SLA or service level agreement would be lack of end customer focus, lack of emphasis on business objectives, overemphasis on efficiency rather than effectiveness, and lack of sub-process metrics to ensure consistency. Professional development. Professional development refers to skills and knowledge attained for both personal development and career advancement. Value, lifelong learning, and a sense of moral obligation to maintain improved professional competence, enhance career progression, keep abreast of new technology and practices, or to comply with professional regulatory organizations. Now let's talk about approach to personal development. Case study method, consultation, coaching, communities of practice, lesson study, mentoring, reflective supervision, and technical assistance. Now let's talk about quality monitoring and analyzing. Quality specification, TQM or totally quality management, TQS for total quality circles, ISO 9001 and 6 Sigma. Let's talk about TQM, total quality management. It's a management system or approach to long-term success through customer satisfaction in a TQM effort. All members of an organization participate in improving processes, products, services, and the culture in which they work through the use of strategy, data, and effective communications to integrate the quality discipline into the culture and activities of the organization. Primary elements of TQM: customer focus, total employee involvement, process-centered, integrated system, strategic and systematic approach, continuous improvement, fact-based decision-making, and communication. Now, total quality circles. It means having organized Kaizen activities involving everyone in a company, managers and workers, in a totally systematic and integrated effort toward improving performance at every level. It is to lead to increased customer satisfaction through satisfying such as corporate cross-functional goals as quality, cost, scheduling, manpower development, and new product development. ISO 9001 is a very flexible quality standard that is readily applicable to many industries as well as to all sectors of IT BPM industry. Hence, its popularity in the Philippines even with small-scale business. ISO 9001 is a part of a series of international standards for quality systems. It is primarily focused on quality systems as models for quality assurance in design, development, production, installation, and servicing. 6 Sigma is a set of qualitative and quantitative statistical techniques to systematically improve processes by eliminating defects and process variation. It is a byproduct of decades of quality improvement methodologies such as statistical process control or SPC and total quality management, which is TQM, and zero defects. 6 Sigma asserts that process variation is an obstacle to reliably deliver high-quality products and services as defined by the customer. Continual focus on reducing process variation is the foundation for business improvement and success. All business processes, including manufacturing, service, administrative, etc., can be measured, analyzed, controlled, and improved. Effective problem solving can be achieved data-driven decision making. Now, achieving and maintaining quality improvement requires an organizational commitment that comes from senior management. Productivity monitoring and control. Employee productivity is the amount of outputs usually regulated by requirements of quality, which can be produced by employee per period of time utilizing the given resources. The more stable, elaborated the process of production, the less X factors or varying inputs it involves. The smoother level of productivity is expected for employees operating it. Now, here are some guidelines for monitoring employee productivity: measuring, comparison, identification, and feedback. Continuous improvement initiatives. The 5S process, or more simply, 5S is a structured program to systematically achieve total organization cleanliness and standardization in the workplace. 5S was invented in Japan and represents 5 Japanese words: seiri, seiton, seiso, seiketsu, and shitsuke. Now, the benefits would be to improve safety, decrease downtime, raise employee morale, identify problems more quickly, and develop control through visibility. Here we have 5S, seiri or tidiness, throw away all rubbish and unrelated materials. When we talk about seiton, orderliness, set everything in its proper place for quick retrieval and storage. Seiso, cleanliness, clean the workplace. Everyone should be a janitor. Seiketsu or standardize the way of maintaining cleanliness. And shitsuke, which is discipline, practice 5S daily, make it a way of life. This also means commitment. Kaizen. It is a Japanese management conceptual for incremental or gradual continuous change improvement. It is a way of life, a philosophy, assuming that every aspect of our life deserves to be constantly improved. Kai means change and Zen means good. Here are the key elements of Kaizen: quality, effort, involvement of employees, willingness to change, and communication. Now let's talk about Lean, a process management framework and methodology derived mostly from the Toyota Production System, or TPS. It aims to optimize the flow or speed of producing goods and services by removing the traditional 8 deadly wastes. Lean implementation or transformation, as it is commonly called, leverages tools for asserting process flow and delay at every step in a process. Now, the focus is on separating value-added from non-value-added activities and eliminating the root cause and cost of non-valued activities. Lean methods are used to quantify and eliminate the cost of complexity. Now, here are the 8 deadly wastes: overproduction, transportation, motion, correction, overprocessing, inventory, waiting, and unused employee ideas and talents. Remember, IT BPM success largely depends on how effectively the organization is in managing its operations. I mentioned performance management, quality monitoring and analyzing, metrics and reporting, productivity monitoring and controls, professional development, and continuous improvement initiatives. Let's talk about business process mapping and notation. What do you need to do? Let me define it to you. Business process mapping and notation, or BPMN, standard notation readily understandable by all business stakeholders, crafted by business analysts, reviewed by business managers and performers who will manage and execute the processes, implemented by technical developers. Let me show you some basic shapes on process mapping and notation. The circle or event means start, intermediate, and events. Okay? Now, the square with rounded corners would be activity, tasks, and sub-processes. The diamond, which is gateway, forking, decision, or merging of paths. The arrow to the right, which is flow, it's called a sequence flow. Submissions in this course will be limited to the shapes in these 2 pages. The page, which is the data or input data or output data, and the square with broken lines, group of tasks, used to visually designate a group of tasks. And what you see there is text or annotation, which is comments, and the longer rectangular shape, pool or lane, which is scope of the role of a performer. Handoffs to other performers, units, are shown as arrows out of the lanes. Event represents start, intermediate, and events, something that happens. Examples would be month-end date is an event that can start the month-end reporting process. Email with an invoice attachment requesting payment can start the accounts payable process. Or students' grades arriving at the registrar office is an event to the semester teaching process. Let's talk about activity. Again, it represents task, something that is done. It leads with an action verb, describes the work done in the task as a clear action instruction. For example, extract account balances in SAP is an activity that will be performed at the start of month end. Check for duplicate invoice is a task done at the first stage of the accounts payable process. Explain syllabus is a task performed by the teacher at the start of the semester. Decision represents forking or merging of paths. May be exclusive forking and or, depending on the answer to the question indicated by the label, an X can be placed inside a shape, which is diamond, to denote a forking of paths. May be parallel flow and marked by a plus sign inside the shape diamond, denoting concurrent activities. Continuing a decision would be represents forking or merging of paths. Would be examples are exclusive is invoice a duplicate, if yes, reject, if no, create accounts payable entry. Parallel would be after billing template is received, accounts receivable entry is created in service center and accounts payable entry is created in the onshore unit. Flow represents sequence flow, connects the task, shows, indicates the flow direction. For example, check for duplicate invoice is followed by generate accounts payable entry. Data in this page represents input data, output data. As an input can be via a submitted template or data in a storage repository. As an output can be a report to be sent to a recipient. Can be a filled up template to be used by the next process. For example, flash or interim profit and loss, which is P&L report. Email notice to a recipient and generated physical invoice. Now, the group of tasks represents a group of tasks. It is literally a visual indicator that the included tasks are within a logical group. For example, pay supplier group can include generate balance sheet entries, credit cash, debit, accounts payable, or issue check payment request, pay supplier, or simply get official receipt. The annotation represents comments, a repository for explanatory comments for any of the shapes, process, flow, or tasks. For example, check payment requests are processed only every Thursday, same as onshore process. Now, the pool or lane, again, representing scope of the role of a performer. Handoffs to other performers, units are shown as arrows going out of the lanes. Activities performed by the individual or again role or team will be noted inside the lane. For example, accountant checks for duplicate invoice and requests check payment. These two activities are within the accounts lane. Approval by company head is done by a different person. Hence, in a different swim lane, the company head's lane. Let us do a quick check for understanding. Number one, what is operations management? What is the value or importance of operations management? Enumerate and explain the components of operations management. What are the process mapping and notation shapes? And what is the value or importance of process mapping and notation? You have just taken up Business Process Outsourcing 101, Module 5, Operations Management.